Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's free online fitness. Please do share, hit like. It's completely free, ideal for amputees who are just starting out, below or above the knee amputees who are just starting out on the journey, or beginner exercises who have never done exercise, would consider themselves a very beginner. I am Melanie Riding. This is my graphics controller down here, so I'm not on the phone, and I run a personal training business here in Southland, New Zealand, and offer in-person and online personal training. I became an amputee 6 months ago, and it is a treatment injury, so it was preventable and caused by a consultant surgeon, which is a little difficult to deal with, but there we are. I am on Facebook. If you're watching this on Facebook, or if you're not and want to follow me, that's where I am. I don't do any sales pitches or anything. It is really just my journey on there. This is also being broadcast on my YouTube channel, Riding Footloose, and it's also going out onto my business YouTube channel as well for anybody who wants to look at that there. You can also find me on Instagram right there, and feel free to hook up with me on any of those platforms. If you've got any questions you want to ask or anything like that. Now I am going to put this down and get started. So I was asked a wee while back how you go about getting the control and balance back in your knee after you've started wearing a prosthetic and when you've been in a wheelchair for so long. So I thought that I would do that sort of thing today. Now my exercises are in groups of 2, and we're doing them 3 times, little short intervals of around 20 seconds. Now it might progress through too fast. If you really are struggling with balance, to do is play this back and just try the first set of exercises till you've mastered them, and then go back and do the first and the second set, and then the first, second, third. If you need to use anything to hold on to, crutches, walking frame, 2 chairs, the arms of a chair or whatever, that is also fine. Now what you need today is a perching stool, which is this thing here. Now I use this in the kitchen, and it sits me at bench height so that I can sit down but cook as well. If you haven't got a perching stool that looks like this, then a bar stool or anything that's slightly higher than a normal stool. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with just standing up, and you're going to sway side to side so that your balance shifts slightly from your good side to your not so good side. Now keep your legs locked straight and don't stick your hip out at the sides like this. Keep everything up straight, and you're just going to sway side to side like so. Now, if you're a beginner joining me and you're not an amputee, you can probably sway further to the side and almost onto one leg. Your aim is to get as much weight onto that side as you can while still having the control and the security of the other foot. Now we're going to go into some mini squats. You're literally just going to bend your knees just very slightly. Now, when I first started doing this, it was impossibly hard and I had to hold crutches, so don't feel bad if you've got to do that, especially if you're an above the knee amputee. What you're aiming to do, keep on going, is just a little bend of the knee, and you're sticking your bum out at the back, just a little tiny bend of the knee. So we're just going to keep on going with that. Make sure you stand up straight, push your hip forward at the end, and we're going to go back to the side sways. So side to side. And good job. This is just getting you used to being standing on that one side. And then we're into the mini squats, little baby squats, only you're just bending your knee and then straightening it again, especially that side. Make sure you lock this amputated side out. Straight and bend. Make sure both legs are doing the same thing, even if you have to look down and check, because I sometimes do. 3, 2, 1. We're going to go one more sway side to side. This time what I want you to do is sort of lift your other leg up off the floor just slightly if you can. Just slightly if you can. So you're swaying a little bit more than you were before. It will feel different because one toe you can point it to keep your balance, the other toe you cannot. 3, 2, 1. Little ditty squats. Little ditty squats. Good job. Like I say, you can hang on to things if you need to. If you don't feel secure doing this. 2 chairs, if you've got sturdy chairs. 2 crutches. 3, 2, 1. Have a seat and rest that leg. Now, then that is the first thing you need to practice. If your balance is like, I don't have any balance, start with that one and don't go any further till you really feel secure with your sway side to side with that one. The next one, you might need to hang on to something if that first one was quite hard. We are going to lateral lift. So your leg is going out to the side and we're going to do it both ways. So you're going to be standing on that leg. Now, if you can't do that, use crutches. If you've got crutches, so that you're offloading, but you've still got space to lift your leg up at the sides. You're aiming to keep your head and shoulders straight. So you're trying not to sway side to side when you do that. And we are strengthening the outer hip, your adductors, your glutes and a bit of your hammies. Hamstrings and glutes, very important to be strengthened when you're an amputee because they're the muscles that take over doing all the job for the rest of the leg. So here we go. So I'm going to start with my good side. Now if you're hanging on to something, you want it to be sort of about there. It might be good to have something as a reference point, then you know if your arm is moving, you know if you have swayed from side to side or not. So we're just going to go up like that. Okay? I'm not really hanging on to this. It's just a reference point to make sure that I am not leaning. You should feel this in those muscles there. Okay? So you should almost feel a bit of a crunch down this side. It's like a side crunch. Try to keep your toe pointing forwards. It's really easy to cheat. Turn your leg around and bring some bigger muscle groups into it. Your toe needs to keep pointing forwards. And then we're going to swap around to the other side and do the same. Like I say, if you can't stand on your amputated side, use a pair of crutches. So you can see how much harder I'm finding this on this side and how much I'm having to hang on to the chair. That is okay. If you don't have a prosthetic at the moment, you'll only be able to do it on one side. If you're below the knee amputee and you don't have a prosthetic, kneel on a chair. Chairs tend to be just about the right height for me to kneel on. And let's stop there. We're going back round to the other side. I'm just going to give you a bit of a rest. Here we go. Now, you will start to feel this in the leg you're standing on as well. Keep the toe pointing forwards. Stay up straight. Doesn't matter how much you're leaning onto whatever you're leaning onto. And rest. One more. Then we're going to sit down for a second before we do the last one. There's a lot of pressure on the leg if you're not used to tolerating that amount of pressure and standing on one leg. It is a lot. So don't feel bad if you have to stop and you can't keep going for the whole 20 seconds. Okay, here we go. So, lateral. Now the other thing that I was talking to my physio about, keep going, is how much you have to lean over on the amputated side hold on, I'm losing my microphone, on the to keep balance. And we had this conversation the other day, and I asked why. Because if he wants me to balance on one leg, I have to lean right the way over here, like that. But I don't do it on this side. I just can stay up straight. And why is that? Have a seat. We'll sit down for a rest for a minute. Why is that? Now, I mentioned this a few days ago in a post. Your ankle is a synovial hinge joint. So it predominantly goes like that, but it's also got a bit of rotation like that. So that is how you're keeping your balance with your foot. Your knee joint is a hinge joint. It goes like that. It has got no rotation whatsoever. It just goes like that. So what that means is when you're balancing on that side, you're having to use a completely different muscle pattern. So the fact you have to lean over on the amputated side in order to do that exercise, do not worry about it. That is perfectly normal. Right. Last one. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Good job. Keep your toe pointing forwards. I've been working on balance like a bugger this week because my physiotherapist gave me the task of being able to balance on one leg for 10 seconds before my next ankle arrives. And it's arrived in New Zealand. It's in Wellington. And I'm hoping it'll come to me by Wednesday. Stop. So that means I've got to be able to balance on one leg for 10 seconds by Wednesday. But because I've been working on it really hard, I can actually do it already. Man, it's difficult. It's really, really difficult. Anyway, last one. So like I say, you'll have to lean over a bit more to get your balance, and that is fine. As long as you're up straight and you're not doing this. That's not fine. Still feel the crunch down this side, but there will be a slight more lean, depending if you're an amputee or not. If you're not an amputee, there's no excuse. Don't turn your foot. Make sure it stays pointing forwards. 3, 2, 1. Have a rest. Now, if there's anything that you want to know, that you're puzzling over, biomechanics-wise, or problems that you've got, if you're an amputee, feel free to find me a message or an email on writingtohealth@gmail.com, because I love problem solving. And my prosthetist and my physiotherapist, every time I visit them, they go, let me think about that for a moment. So I like to challenge perceptions and like to challenge their thought processes and, come out of the norm. So feel free to find me a message if you've got something you want to know, and I'll find out the answer for you. Now, the last one, you're going to high knee, one at a time. Now, again, you might need to hold on to something if you aren't very good at balancing. But you're basically going to high knee like that. We're going to go one side, and then we're going to go the other side. Now, I can do it without balancing, but it's all right if you have to hang on to a chair. Okay? And then we're going to go the other side. Now, the challenge with that one is bending your knee. So you're going to have to pull that hamstring in to bend your knee. Pull that hamstring in. It's such a different muscle pattern to just do the things you used to do. Honestly. Anyway, here we go. We're going to go non-amputated side first. If you're an amputee, we'll start with the easy side. So you're pulling that hamstring in to bend your knee. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So we're just going to do a nice high knee. Okay? The slower you do it, the harder it will be. So if you're finding it hard, speed it up a bit and hang on to something. Now this screams, my hamstring and glutes scream at me when I do this exercise. It looks so simple to someone who's got 2 feet. 3, 2, 1. We're going to swap sides. Right. Are we ready? I've just got the chair there for safety. Interestingly, it's actually not as painful on this side because my hamstrings, glutes, quads, blah, 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 are all doing the normal job they do. But it's also getting you used to tolerating standing on one leg if that's something you're having trouble with. One more and stop. Have a little rest for a second. Rest that leg. Ready? Number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. High knees. Woo. Ooh. Good job. Don't let that hip drop. Keep that hip up as well. You don't let it do this. 3, 2, 1 more. Stop. That's another thing I should have said at the start. Don't do this. Especially when you're standing, resting your amputated leg. Try not to do this because that'll put so much strain on your adductors and your ITB. Right. Other side. Here we go. Good job. Ten seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have another wee rest. Now, like I say, if you find these easy, slow it right down. Do it super slow-mo. That will make it harder. All right, one more to go. Here we go. So we're starting on the easy side. 3, 2, 1, and go. It's almost like every time I start with a bended knee after standing on it, I've got to remind it what it's got to do. I'm also getting a thinner liner in the next couple of weeks. My liner and limb sleeves are really chunky. Behind the knee, it really does hurt after a while. That'll be good. 3, 2, 1. Swap sides. Right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oops, what am I doing? Wrong exercise. High knee. Nice and slow. Like I say, you'll have to lean over further to keep your balance, and that is all right. I've just explained the biomechanics of that. Took my physio a wee while to just explain that to me, and then I went and did some research to understand it for myself. Makes sense, really. You're balancing on a different type of joint. 3, 2, 1. Stop there. Right. So that round of exercises really was targeted towards lower limb amputees who are wanting to build up their balance and knee strength. That was more balance and standing tolerance than it was knee strength, because you need one in order to get the other one. So we start working with the balance and the tolerance standing up, and then progress towards the strengthening of the knee joint and squats and all that jazzy-majazz. So, like I said to you before, I am Melanie Riding, and I own a personal training business and a massage business down here in Southland, New Zealand. I'm also online. Don't do massage online, that would be a bit weird, but I do everything else online. If you want to hook up with me, do feel free to hook up with me on any of these platforms right here. Facebook, and there's YouTube, and there's Instagram. I am a REPS registered personal trainer, which means that I have got to keep my personal training qualifications up to speed, be able to stay on the REPS register each year, and I choose to do that. REPS is a regulatory body for the fitness industry, but it's not compulsory. So be careful if you are looking for a personal trainer close to you. Make sure they've got the right qualifications, because they don't necessarily need to be on it's not a regulated industry. So just be careful. That's why I've got the REPS logo up in the left-hand corner up there, and it proves that I've got a commitment to high quality and good standards, and you won't get any bad advice off me. REPS is a public register, so you can look it up online, and it's fitness in the USA, it's REPS in the UK, and it's REPS and it's also called Fitness Australia in Australia. Australia. So they're the main 3 countries. If you're looking for a personal trainer near you, that's the registers you want to look at. Have a lovely day, week, evening, whatever time of day it is to you. And I will see you all again soon. Bye.